a guan, people.
Wow, man said what a guan.
What a guan. Is it what a guan or is it want a guan? Because I always change it.
What a guan.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, what's happening?
Yes.
What's happening?
Okay.
Ekale, Ekaro, that's for my Yoruba people. Good evening, good morning. We are back again, Unscripted.
Yes, indeed. Come across a very interesting video on the PMP channel.
The title was so captivating. I just thought, I need to see what they're saying.
It's gonna trigger a lot of people.
The title was already triggering a lot of people.
And we'll add this to the long list of conversations we're gonna have with people.
100%. 100%.
Why so many black women are single?
Interesting. Scary topic. Very, very scary. I'm just happy I'm not the one that's speaking.
We're just reviewing, reacting.
I'm just a messenger, so don't come for me. Do you know what I mean?
Cool. Alright, let's get into it.
Want to be like men, and men are now thinking, well, if you want to be men, be men. Let's
even talk about the calibre of men, because come on, it's shoddy business going on out there. Like, some of my friends, I'm like, you good girls, but the guys,
they always go for girls like bad guys.
That's true.
And then they want it to turn good.
What's up, YouTube? Portman Podcast back with another video. Give me the H.
Sorry, I just skip his HBO special.
Yeah.
They are a lot.
Without special, hit the like and the subscribe button for more content. Let's get right into the video.
The being Mary Jane syndrome. Now, apparently...
So what?
Being Mary Jane syndrome. So Mary Jane was Spider-Man.
Interesting.
Based on research, there are a large and alarming number of black women who are single in the US and in the UK. Now, in America, Essence.com, they posted this article, right?
Sorry, why is that guy already smiling like that?
Because exactly, you know he's been waiting. You know when you've been waiting for so long to get something off your chest, and now the opportunity is about to present it. So he's waiting. He's waiting.
Based on research from matchmakers, with the top 7 reasons as to why black men do not want to approach black women. The 7 reasons, some of them was, we don't seem as fun, right? We look like we can't be bothered. This is about black women, and black men think this. We don't offer enough support. We're more inhibited sexually.
I'm just going to pause it there, yeah? And take it back, yeah? Because those first 3 things, are things that, again, I've had conversation with people and it's always come up. They're not as fun, not as supportive, and what was the other one? They don't look like interested, even in terms of the approach. If you go out anywhere in a setting, wherever, I'm telling you, more time, and again, it's not everyone, I'm not speaking for everyone, but just comparing, let's even say I just went to, I don't even know. Let's just say I'm going to Oxford Street. I see some ladies.
Yes.
Black ladies, other races.
Yes.
I'm telling you, what I have noticed and what I have seen as a black man, the more approachable ones look like they are white and just other races.
I agree with you.
My black ladies don't look as approachable, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, not everyone, please.
And I'm not saying everyone. I'm not saying everyone. I agree. Me, I'm only noticing this as much because I'm interested in black women. So that's why I actually notice it as a black man that's interested in black women.
I think there's a mix also of, we're having the conversation before the camera's rolling as well about, you know, we afford this black queen movement. You know, we should treat our black women correctly or whatnot. But I feel like the stushness, if we use it that urban terminology, it's probably maybe there's some self-entitlement.
I don't know where it is. I actually don't know where it is.
By the way that, you know, it seems that you can't approach, again, not even just like a relationship, man and woman, but just like a friendly level. I don't know, it's very strange.
It is very strange, and I don't get where it stems from. Maybe they feel like if I do put up this kind of persona, kind of give off a vibe like I'm bougie, maybe that will make
hate
me
that
more
word as well.
attractive,
I hate
or
that word.
it'll make me, you know,
Yeah, I hate that
the
word.
guy more interested.
Yeah.
For me personally, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't look inviting. Like,
No.
you don't look like somebody that would be fun. Which goes back to another point that they mentioned as well, because again, and I'm speaking from experience, and this is not everyone, once again, it's not everyone, but from experience, a lot of the black women around me, my friends, a lot of friends, family, cousins, all of that kind of stuff, when I think about activities and what they do, other than really TV and social media, I don't know what else. I actually don't know what they do in their free time. Because the man then, we kick ball, I don't know, if we play basketball, table tennis, more athletic and more, they do stuff. They do stuff. Bruv, I couldn't tell
That
you
is
what,
a
I don't know what they do.
very
I
good point.
actually don't know.
That's a very good, because when I think about it, especially, again, I'm not saying men are more active than women or whatever, but particularly when you look at the women, you know, you see other women, Caucasian, white women, women from other cultures, they're number one more involved in their community, you know, as even black women have said themselves, they need to start to support each other more rather than, you know,
100%.
going against or just being
100%.
individualistic.
100%.
Other cultures, you know, in terms of women, are more involved in the community, and also when it comes to their hobbies and stuff like that, you know, that's a very good point. Again, I'm not saying that. Well, maybe indirectly it plays to singleness, maybe. But it's a good point. They don't really, in terms of extracurricular activities. There aren't a sports club. No.
And the thing is, it's not every guy that cares about that kind of stuff.
No, it's true.
But like for someone like me, that's very dynamic, on the move, very. I want somebody that can match and is equally as like just fun. Like you want to do stuff. I don't want to go on holiday with somebody that just wants to lounge around and maybe just get a tan and sleep and do that. But let's explore. Me, I love exploring. But if I have the opportunity, I'll walk to, I don't even know, but I'll walk to Exeter, bruv, and just, because I like to see stuff and do stuff.
Exactly.
So, I don't know. Bruv, I rambled on for too long.
We don't offer enough support. We're more inhibited sexually, and men's friendliness is always misunderstood by black women, and we put too much pressure on black men. Wait a minute.
He's ready. He actually said he just wants to get right in there.
Friendliness is always misunderstood by black women, and we put too much pressure on black men.
As a guy that's had that conversation before with many black men that either don't date black women anymore or stop dating black women for a certain period of time, I must say that some of the things she just listed are true as far as what I hear from them. When I talk to them, they talk about black women being unapproachable. They talk about black women not being able to be led in terms of not allowing a man to take leadership. A big one that a lot of people don't talk about is the fact that there are a lot of black men that have more conservative family views. My circle, the people I hang around with, are men that have conservative family views. So we enjoy our families, right? We enjoy each other. We stay faithful to our girlfriends. We try to stay faithful to our wives. We try to do things the right way when it comes to our family, and how we carry ourselves in public. Now, some black women, they don't care about that. They want to go and twerk in public. And when you talk about guys that have more conservative family views, they don't want women like that. You look at the fact that 95% of African-American women that voted Democrat in the last election. If I have conservative family views, we don't necessarily see eye to eye on everything. You don't want to be led by me. You want to be the leader of this relationship. You want to twerk in public, and that's not something that I'm with. And so because I don't allow those things, I'm seen as a lame, right? I'm seen as not cool. And so I go and date people that have views that are like mine. unfortunately. And generally speaking, those are white women, those are Latino women, those are Asian women that have the more conservative views. So a lot of those men, when women are like, where are all the good black men that want families and this and that, they end up having to date out because they're called lames when they're in their growing phase, when they're 19, 20, 21. Until they start to become successful, they don't really get the attention of black women. Once they get older, they start growing the beard in, they start getting a little taller, whatever it may be. That's when black women start to get interested in them. But by that time, they've already started to date out of the race because they were called lame for so long. Think Will Smith, think like Jordan Peele, right? Guys that aren't necessarily sought after until they're already successful. And I see that a lot in our community. And there are so many African-American women that think in a democratic mindset when it comes to family. And those conservative black men that have family values don't necessarily want to be associated with that. It is what it is.
Fact.
So we're saying if black women are really single, or the quality of guys that are out there are not necessarily.
I think
Too many women.
I think the quality of guys is not.
Can I be understanding? Let's understand something.
Yeah.
In lately,
Can I be understanding?
like, let's understand something. There's too many women.
Yeah.
There's like 7 to 1 guy.
If you had a
Not
choice, would
everyone's
you
gonna
have
get
more than
married.
one woman?
We cannot answer them kind of questions. I'm married. What kind of questions are these? That is not in the man.
What did she ask?
I didn't even hear.
That's right. I don't want to. Should I say? There's one bad trait of a lot of black women. Again, this might be. I don't think this is most, but some. Let's finish talking, man. In too many interruptions. Again, I'm not trying to use a stereotype of like black women are ratchet. No, I'm not saying that, and I'm not saying that most women are like this. But one predominant, bad characteristics in some of you is this, is in a conversation where there are different views. Let's be a bit civilized, a bit. Sometimes there's a bit too much energy.
Yeah, sometimes the conversation doesn't
exactly.
require like you to get to
exactly.
Lately,
Can I be understanding?
like, let's understand something. There's too many women.
Yeah.
There's like 7 to 1 guy.
If you had a
Not
choice, would
everyone's
you
gonna
have
get
more than
married.
one woman?
What kind of? And this is something Kevin Samuels brought up one time as well. I'm asking you a question, and then you ask me a question as the answer. Do you know on a day-to-day basis how many times that's happened as well? Where I'm talking to a friend or a random woman. What? It's long.
It's long. It's actually long. It's actually long. It's a bit frustrating at times as well.
Hella. So I've asked you a question for you not to ask me one. What?
Yeah.
God help
Ask
us.
you the question of a question.
We love you guys, man.
We cannot answer them kind of questions. I'm married. What kind of questions are these? That is not in the manual.
Don't let them get you. Don't let them get you, dog.
Hypothetically speaking, if you could have more than one.
My dad did, my uncles did, my dad's dad did,
My friends are the same.
Yeah.
Okay.
What happened now is generations have changed. It's you women now that are not accepting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you women now that are not accepting it. My moms, my aunties, 4 wives, 3 wives, 2 wives.
But how wealthy were they?
What wealthy?
How wealthy were the men?
7 wives.
That's a problem, man. Yeah, that's a problem.
He's
Not
right.
enough women.
There's not enough men.
Because you know why? Women are on the rise. They
So we're saying, okay,
Yeah.
so to conclude,
Now you're doing empowerment and everything. Fantastic, wonderful.
Yeah.
Some of you are not gonna marry.
Yeah,
right?
it's true.
Some of you are not gonna have
They're
kids.
gonna be forever single.
Some of you are gonna be single forever. Some of you are gonna be in and out of
Not
relationships.
interested for me,
Yeah.
though.
No,
Can't
but
hold it down.
what I'm saying is because there's 7 to 1, so that one woman that's not willing
Yeah.
to do 100%,
Oh, I see.
that guy
Yeah.
is gonna find another woman that's willing to do it.
Yeah.
It's just
Whoa. Big facts there.
That's facts. It's true.
And I think we've heard that somewhere. I think if it was the roommate platform or Kevin Samuels, it's true.
That's the truth. That's the actual truth. And again, when you think about it, like again, in terms of a man's window of opportunity, in terms of being in a relationship, again, anyone can find love at any age.
Yeah, of course.
But if your goals are to have a child and stuff like that, there's a time
Yeah.
that women can.
Yeah. And there's a smaller. Let's be
The
honest,
window
there's a
is smaller.
women
If
as
we're
well.
being honest, there's a smaller window.
Definitely,
And again,
100%.
even in terms of just attraction as well, the window is smaller as well.
Yes.
that's why you tend to see, and I see it as well, a lot of women when they kind of start passing 30 and stuff, a lot of the kind of, I won't say pride or the ego, a lot of the standards that they have in their younger years, it changes because they're not, and this is not for everyone, it's not from all cases, but they're not as desired as their younger counterparts, and that's just facts. And you will see in terms of how someone acts, how a lot of women act in their 30 plus and how 20 plus is different. The standards drop, everything drop, especially those that are looking to get into a relationship, either have kids or get married, whatever. The standards drop. So,
wow, big facts, man.
Again, this conversation we need.
Even just this figure. So look at the level. It's gonna be a
it is.
How it works? Why? Because guys.
So can we also talk about the caliber of men? Because come on, it's shoddy business going on out there. Like some of my friends, I'm like, you good girls, but the guys.
They always go for
Girls like bad guys.
That's true.
And then they want it to turn good. They like bad guys. Why? You want a man that can protect you and hold it down and
I don't
respect
need
you.
protecting
And
anyone.
then,
I'm fine.
as he gets older, you tell him, listen, you gotta drop something out, and he's looking at you like, yeah, but how?
I agree with that. I think sometimes there's the thrill of the bad guy, but I do feel.
In what day and age? It's not the 90s anymore.
He's still out there.
Not the thrill of the bad guy, but you want a guy with a little bit of edge because you don't want
That's
something
a bit
boring.
flashy.
That can kind of be a bit
You don't want anybody boring. You don't want anybody boring, but women have to understand that boring, quote unquote, is what a relationship is. It's not this excitement. And there was a study done where it talks about dopamine in the brain. And when there's uncertainty, this is huge for dating. When there's uncertainty, there's more dopamine produced in the brain.
It wouldn't get on your nerves if he's too into you and you're like,
Okay, I'll be honest. I want him to be just as affectionate as me.
Okay.
But if I call you, don't pick up all the time.
Got it.
Sometimes I'm going to be left wondering, what's he doing?
Got it.
That creates that dopamine rush where you're like,
this is how I mean, like. Anyway,
I think this is this is a women's thing specifically. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Links like to the other video of like listening, not to solve a problem, just to listen. I could open up about it as well, man. Like being married sometimes.
I think it's a biological thing.
It is definitely, man. Biological. The miss will tell you A, B, C, D. But if you try and give advice, you're on the wrong. You're wrong, man. You're lost. You just need to listen. Oh, man.
Boy.
This life no balance, man. It's actually a gift if I can find that. Show you. Oh, my days.
Let me hear what you said.
what's going to happen, and women generally like that, and it becomes addicting. Pretty much you're a gambling addict. It's the same thing that goes on when you're gambling, and so you get used to these lustful thrills as a woman. You get used to going and dating this guy and being with this crazy, tall, athletic guy, but he got 3 or 4 women, so he ain't around all the time because he's sharing his time with other women, and you get used to that treatment. You get used to that dopamine rush. So when you see a guy that actually is interested in you, he's showing you attention. You friend zone him. You don't want anything to do with him. And this is what happens a lot. So many people are into those lustful interactions, and lust is that dopamine rush. That's that excitement. That's not what a relationship is. So when they get into those relationships, they say, "Oh, he's boring." No, he just wants a family. He knows what he wants, and that's what he's going after. He ain't bouncing around from girl to girl to girl, and he's around all the time. He has consistency. And what we see when it comes to dopamine and consistency is when there is consistency, your dopamine isn't as high, right? Your dopamine goes up when there's more inconsistency. And that's really interesting, especially when you would apply it to dating, and you see how that affects so many women in terms of liking bad boys for so long until they realize it ain't going to happen. Generally speaking, that comes around 30 when the time is ticking. Let's just be honest.
I said that.
His own opinions. But I do think, though, with social media, I think guys are getting a bit too brave, and they because they think there's loads of options, more options. There are. So they're kind of like, oh, okay, you won't do it. Well, yeah, exactly. It's national.
It's lit.
Because all they have to do is slide in the DMs. Way back when, it wasn't even, exactly. It was harder to kind of see your options. But I think now, men are spoiled for choice, and they're being picky. So I think
so are women. Why are we thinking that it's only men? Do you know how many men are out there?
Because you must respect yourself. Let's not forget that.
Let me tell you something.
Let's not forget. This is another
Girls
issue.
are
A
having
lot
sex.
of women
That's
want
the
to be
reality.
like men, and men are now thinking, well, if you want to be men, be men. Let's
I'm not
all do
saying
it,
that.
right?
I'm saying that.
Not that it's right for men to do
If
it,
someone
but
is-
a lot more women are trying to do what men are doing, and men are
I'm
coming
not
across
talking
like.
about sleeping with everybody, but having your options. If you know what I mean, if the offering that's currently there isn't really saying nothing.
If this is a current account. Well,
This is not Santander.
a woman should take her time with a man and get to know him, not sleep with him. I'm not saying. I mean, get to know him and see if it's compatible. Problem with a lot of women is they don't ask questions. They feel like if I ask them too many questions,
I want to know your
so you're
credit.
getting
Are you?
places.
What's your credit score? Like, what are you really saying? You know.
Is it lit?
But you're right.
And when we talk about options, I'm sorry, I'm gonna stop stopping it. I'm gonna let it play for a little longer after this one. But when we talk about options, because of dating sites, we see that it's quite often the very top 10 or 20% of men that actually have all of those options. So that doesn't really affect all men. So that small percentage of men are having all of the options, and when men have options, we're designed to spread our seed. So that's what we do. I'm not saying it's a good thing in 2021, but it is what it is. That is part of it. So when you talk, and when you're a woman and you want this top 10% of men, well, then you're going to have to deal with the fact that he's going to have a huge variety of women to choose from. So the competition is going to be stiff, if you get what I'm saying. And another thing that he said that was really interesting is women are trying to be like men. And when we talk about this, a lot of times people automatically go over to sex. And that is a component of it. Women are trying to be men sexually. They assume that they can go out and have many partners and with no problem, and it could be all okay or whatever it may be. But the truth of the matter is that's not the only way that women are trying to be men. Women are also trying to be men in terms of their success, in terms of their career, in terms of chasing a degree, right? When you ask a lot of women in 2021, what do you bring to the table? They bring up, oh, I have a degree, I have this, I have that, I have money, I can take care of myself. They list things that they value in men. Right, but men don't value the same things in a woman that women.
And that's the same thing that went over in that roommate's
Yeah, I remember that.
Literally, you know. He's gonna explain the rest.
Value in men, so they try to mimic what they see that they like in men, and think, hey, if I make $80K a year, there should be more men beating down my door because I'm making money. And the truth of the matter is, men don't care about how much you make, because generally speaking, we don't have access to your money. You're a woman and you make $100K, you still want that man to pay majority of the bills. It doesn't matter. So you're gonna want a man that makes more than you. So say $120K. But understand that if you make $100K and you want a man to make $120K, he has a huge dating pool. He has a lot of options, and there's a small minority of those men. So when you go out, unfortunately, as a woman, when you go out and make more money, you're actually making your dating pool significantly smaller every time, like per $10,000 extra you make. So that's just part of it. And I think that for that to change, it would take women to want to date quote unquote down financially, and I don't think women are even designed innately to do that. So we're in a really tough position when it comes to women wanting to date men who make more, and women going out and chasing these degrees and chasing careers, then wanting these men, and those men not being available because there's not enough of them and they have too many dating options. So
I think some women, you're right, some women don't have the standards.
You want to have children, you don't want to have children.
But some women don't have the standards, but then
then
because those women don't have the standards, it makes it an effect on everyone, because then they think every woman has got no standards.
Because if you meet 10 women and you're going through no standards 10 times, you meet number 11 and she's like, I got standards. You're like, please.
Yeah.
You're going to first say, please.
But
right.
Isn't it all about sex then? If that's the case, the ease of sex. Because isn't that really the end goal that if you're meeting 10 girls, they're all saying the same thing. The 11th one says, she's got standards, but you're like, nah.
That's why some people marry the 11th one.
Yeah.
That's why some people marry the 11th one. And some people say, no, I'm going back to
Unfortunately,
easy.
this is a great discussion. Some men go through them to get to that one.
It's true.
No, but then when they get to that one, usually then they still behave bad.
They do.
And that's the problem. A lot of wives are at home crying because their husbands are not staying at home. They still want to go and play.
That's why women are single.
You know, let me say something to you, yeah? Do you understand? Do you know the meaning of embarrassment?
Go on,
Yes. a lot of women don't want that in their
That's
home.
true. That's true.
You see, some women would rather stay. You see when they say keep your problems at home,
Keep it locked in the house.
African.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, they will keep them hair. Can you see? You understand? African women is like a lot of them is when you get married, stay in that home.
But then you got the white women going on Jeremy Clark.
Stay at home. It's true. As soon as there's a problem, you come and discuss it with the
This guy's speaking sense though.
Wait, what is he saying? He said so sliced up.
About the white guy.
The white guy, yeah.
I'm
I'm trying to make something. It's
He said something like different in a while.
Yeah.
But what this guy said, he's speaking.
He don't play that.
What happened is you came back home, B. It's lit.
But with that, there are a lot of more African women.
There's a recent survey on Essence.com that said the reason why so many black women are single is because black men are scared to approach them. Do you think this is true?
We need to up our game.
So are you scared to approach a black woman?
Well, no, it's just that I feel that black women are they're too proud.
Proud?
Yeah.
Okay, honest, yeah. Oh, okay.
Black women, they're too proud. So, yeah, that's why I kind of get put off by it.
Okay, let's see this, yeah.
You heard it right there.
Since young, year 7, I got validated by black women, like dark-skinned women. So obviously, white girls were easiest for me.
Yeah.
So I started liking white girls more.
Yeah.
But as I got older, my mom told me black women ain't the same.
Yeah.
And I see my sister and they're calm. So now I date black girls.
Yeah.
But what I think is black girls just stereotypes, isn't it?
It's stereotypes of the angry black woman.
The angry, bipolar and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think.
So you now, as you've gotten older, you got more confident in approaching black women?
Yeah, because obviously now, I don't know, I think my looks gone better. So
Now rewind back to the beginning of the video where I just said those two things.
What is it?
No, earlier in the video, he was like, a lot of black men won't get attention when they're younger. It's only in their later years where they get attention in terms of whether their looks have changed, they get the bed, or they come into money. They weren't getting attention when they're younger, but it's now too late because you've been shunning this black man for how long? He's now dated outside of his race and found something that's more compatible. But now when you want him, he doesn't want you.
Yeah, he don't want you, man. Good point.
Being too proud, as in you just think that you're better than, and also going where you're wanted until black women start to want you because your looks start to develop a little better. I just spoke about this. So it really does play. And when we talk about approachability, smiling, being bubbly, all those things are huge when it comes to approachability. Let me show you a good example of a woman that is approachable and that has game. This is game from a woman.
That's all. So, that's all I have. Hey, darling, how are you? You well? Are y'all? Huh? I'm good, and yourself? We asking each other, keep asking each other, how we doing? Why you smiling so hard? April, nice to meet you, Michael. Are you playing golf, or you know how to play golf? Okay, well, I'm gonna come back down here, and one day, one of y'all gonna teach me. I'm taking lessons now.
Now, you can just see the difference between how she interacts.
Can see, like, bro, if someone is smiling, you're gonna smile as well.
Yeah. I don't know how he even found who that person.
I don't know how.
That's a revelation, bro.
That's true. Honestly, it is. It is.
Do you know how rare it is to find a black woman to be that responsive?
It's rare. It's actually rare.
And that's not flirting. That's just being cool. Just being easy. Just being easy.
Yeah. Just being, just polite. Just being. I don't know. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe this is how it is in London and it's different in other places. I don't know. Maybe this is just a London thing.
Guys in America,
but yeah,
yeah. I'm thankful that my wife is actually like this. So she's very friendly with everyone. But unfortunately it's very rare. Okay, not very rare, but it's not common to find this.
It's not common. It's not common. And anyone that's being honest, it's not common.
Yeah.
It's not common.
Yeah, and we're not saying this much again because even, with black females we've had even on the podcast,
Yeah.
they've been very receptive, very friendly.
Yeah.
But there are also many examples, as we're speaking about in this context, where it's not been that. You know, it's not the case.
It doesn't hurt to smile. Or maybe it does, who knows. But it doesn't hurt me to smile, man.
To pull that Pharrell happy.
Yeah,
you know,
for real.
Listen to it
for
every
real.
day.
Interacts with that man and how, generally speaking, women interact with men in 2021. Women are a lot more standoffish. Women don't want to speak. Women like to try to play hard to get, when in all actuality, men don't really like those things, right? Especially in a climate where you can't be too pushy as a man or it's seen as assault. You know what I mean? So a lot more men don't really approach women anymore because of the because it's taboo almost now. So with that in place and the fact that women are more standoffish, it's going to be tough.
I want to say something actually. I really agree with his point as well, because when I was speaking to a black woman recently, not my friend directly, a friend of someone that's close to me, she was giving off this same energy, and I was in a predicament where, like, if it was obviously one of my boys or someone I do know, I could say, why are you acting like this, you know? But at that point, when there's that standoffish behavior, if you try to, you know, bring up the fact or try and make it, I don't know, try and highlight that's the word, you know, that what kind of energy is this, or
that's a big problem.
Yeah, maybe we'll try and increase the small talk a little bit. You could be taken in the wrong way, you know? Either you're enforcing it or in the wrong way as you're trying to chirps, you know? Yeah.
That's why for me, honestly, if I'm in that situation, I take myself out of that situation. I'm sorry, that's it, good day, now see you. Because in the wise words of Mr. Jose Mourinho, if I speak, I'll be in big trouble. So I take myself out of the situation, because what's left? There's nothing left.
It's true. It's honestly true.
There are a record number of women in their 30s who are freezing their eggs in the UK. Does this show that it's much harder to settle down and find the one in the UK? So is it a sense of, okay, because it's my generation, we spent our 20s building our careers, developing ourselves, taking our time, not rushing into anything, and then we hit our 30s and we're trying to find the one and we can't find him. Do you think that's why there's so many women?
I don't believe in the one. I stopped believing in the one many years ago. Like, after I had my first proper heartbreak, I was like, once that one happens, it's like, you can't sit around waiting for the cool guy, the good guy, the guy that's got this. I've had good guys. I've had guys I can't freaking stand.
The good, the bad, and the ugly, yeah.
And he might be the perfect person for somebody else, but just not for me. Yeah,
not for you.
I don't believe in the one. He's not going to.
Because our generations now, there's a lot of people that they see each other.
Yeah.
See each other.
It's linking, right?
Yeah, of course. Back in our day,
check someone, you go your way, you go your way.
I'm using some of my debit amount on you.
But then it doesn't move
does
forward.
It mean that that's why women...
It's not supposed to.
Does it mean that women are wasting their time seeing people in their 20s, and when they reach their 30s, they're thinking, oh my God,
what's happened?
What's happened?
And that women now, because what the empowerment and being strong, independent women, they don't need a man. This was 2017, and I was like, they don't need a man to have a kid. They can freeze their eggs and live a happy life
and get artificial
have a kid later on.
Yeah,
they don't need the man.
Before I was with my current partner,
cringy.
I did look into that because I was kind of worried. You know, I was kind of thinking, okay, I'm approaching like my late 20s. It's not working.
Yeah, she was. I remember.
I was like, okay, I'm really struggling to find the right partner, and I did. And one of my friends actually, she had a baby by artificial insemination. So she was 35, and she was like, Vanessa, I can't.
I don't think you should put age on having a baby.
But she was like, biologically, this is my cut-off time.
Harder. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, she was saying, so she was like 35 years old. If I wait until after, it's going to be high risk. Yeah. So she made the choice to have a baby. So I did look into it, and it is something that I think, you do worry about, because men, like I said, it's very hard because of the standards that I have to find, not a lot of men that respect women, or
because of the standards you have, a lot of women have extremely high standards. There are matchmakers, female matchmakers, that are literally quitting out of the job because the women that they're dealing with have too high of standards for the men that they want. But that wasn't really why I wanted to stop the video and talk a little bit. I wanted to talk a little bit about the fact that they said that people think that you're going to find the one. In this generation, the people that have grown up have been taught an idea, have been sold an idea by Disney, by other companies, that you just see a person and you fall in love with them. And that can easily be mistaken for lust, right? I mean, they're damn near the same thing, especially in that first few months when it's getting busy, until you come out of that lust and you realize, I don't even like this person. And a lot of people are sold that idea that I'm just going to go and fall in love with the first person. You know, if I see him and I like him, oh, I'm in love with him. No, you lust for him. No, you lust for her. And then once that fades away, y'all find out that y'all don't really like each other, right? And so many more women are now going and chasing the career instead of actually building the skills that it takes to have a relationship. And that's why they're not able to find relationships. They're career women and they think that that's what men want, but we want women that enjoy relationships. We want women that have certain skills. And just like anything else, just like that career you want so bad that you went to school, you went $60,000 in debt for, you goddamn, you dressed up for the interview, you went and showed up every day, you built a skill in order to get that career. At the end of the day, that doesn't apply at all to dating. So what dating requires are a different set of skills. And so you've honed yourself into being a career person, not a good wife, not a good girlfriend. So because you think that men desire you to have money, you go out and chase the money, when really we just want somebody that we can come home to, that's reasonable, that wants to fix our plate. And I will say this was huge for me. The woman that I've married, I was with her since I was in high school, and one of the things that made me think of her differently, or one of the things that made me know that she was different, was the fact that her mother taught her to make my plate before she makes her own plate. And women don't understand how huge little things like this is for men, right? This shows submissiveness. This shows that she's willing to put me before she's willing to put herself. This shows that she values me, you know what I mean? And this was happening at 15 years old. She was 14. You see what I'm saying? So like little things like that, these are skills that women don't really know. She knows how to cook very well. I love that. I love that every day I come home, she cooks every single day.
That's another thing, man. And I think in this context, I think it's a bit disappointing as well to know that there are some, especially where we're from, the community, the black community, and the values that we've had from back home.
That's the thing.
To find that there are, again, it's not all, but there are some black women that they don't believe, they don't carry, even growing up in their household with their mothers.
They saw their mums doing that. And
they don't believe in it. It's like you just disregard, just ignore it. You know, where I've heard, you know, even friends, you know, not where I've been, but I've heard friends say in settings, you know, through other people that when they get married, their husband's going to be the one to cook and that stuff. And obviously we're not saying that women belong in the kitchen, yeah. But come on, man. Like, these values are there for a reason. Just like you said, they show something.
It's actually there for a reason. Because, like, for me, the reason why I take to it so much, because obviously now I've seen my parents, I've seen my grandma, I've seen all my aunties do that. And for me, it all comes under that idea of, like, nurture. Like, are you someone that's nurturing? Like, and again, for me, I look for that kind of skill, like he's talking about, in a woman, because if you can do that for me, then that means you are going to put our kids first. That means you're going to look after our kids.
Exactly.
It's stuff like that. Yeah. If now you only think of yourself,
the house,
that's the thing, because that's what I feel like a woman's role is. Really, take care, look after the house. Like, I'm not saying that just stay at home and be a housewife and just make sure sweat until I eat kind of thing. That's not what I'm saying. But their role, I feel like, is more of a nurturing role, where a man is more of a kind of protection. I'm never going to say provider, because people have a problem with that one now, this day and age. But that's what I feel like the man's role is, kind of thing. So if you're not really showing me that kind of, that you have those skills, even when we're dating, then I'm not going to look at you as a wife. I'm not going to look at you as a wife. Like,
no, it makes sense. It makes sense, 100%. Ooh.
She enjoys it with a smile on her face. I sit down, I got my TV tray, I turn on the TV after working all day and making videos, and she comes and brings me food. Now, because she's done that, I'm up early in the morning on Saturday making videos while she's in the bedroom sleeping. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of women have sacrificed that struggle going out and getting that career when they could have lived a better life and not even have to work. And just like my wife doing, sitting in the house sleeping right now, and she might get up and do whatever she want to do, and that's cool with me because she showed that she's valued me before I had anything. And now that things are starting to roll a little bit, I show her that I value her. So that's just how it works.
Or sometimes they're intimidated by women like myself that, I can look after myself, I've got my own business. Sometimes it can be quite intimidating. So I think these women, it's sort of like they're forced to freeze their eggs because it's just really hard.
You want to find love. Are you looking
They're
for
not seeking relationships. They're seeking jobs.
Yeah.
So now they're 30 with no relationship. That's not surprising.
You're not even looking.
You have to love yourself, is what I'm saying.
That's the truth.
I found my wife when I was loving myself. And she loved herself, and we realized that, okay, we've got love
collaboration,
to give. You have to have love to give. A lot of people don't have love to give. Nowadays, it's really about, they give you so many platforms not to communicate. People now receive messages and don't want to read it just because. That's the site we live in. Oh, I got a message, I'll read it later. Why? Messages are meant to be read straight away.
That's what they're there for.
Replies are meant to be made straight away.
Instantly.
You have the access to do so straight away. That's why some people are seeing things and they're finding their way through life. And some people are seeing things and they're sitting on it.
It's true.
It all depends on the type of people are. And we live in the craziest time now.
We do. It's
the craziest time. Like, the conversations we're having are good because no one told us these things.
No.
Yeah, it's true. So there's a large number of women in their 30s who are freezing their eggs. Yes. Why do you think that is?
I may be one of them who might do it one day because, I'm a singer-songwriter and I don't really want to have kids for a good few years.
There you go.
But I think nowadays our generation...
too quick to have.
Yeah. No, it's not that we're too quick to have one. If you're not ready to have one at a certain age, like I'm in my later half of the 20s, and I don't want kids for a long time, nor do I want it with any randomer.
Yeah.
Boom. That's the end of the video. I thought that was a really interesting conversation. I think that was one that needs to be had amongst black people. By the way, I am pro-black family. I like for black men to be with black women to be with black men, have beautiful black kids, to go on to build more black economics, because I truly believe that every community in the country has to be strong in order for the country to be strong. So not only does it benefit black people to have more economics and more control of their economics through family and community, it benefits the country because you're only as strong as your weakest link. And right now, unfortunately, economically, African Americans seem to be at the bottom. We are growing. Black men are doing better than ever. Of course, black women economically are doing better than ever. Unfortunately, with no family structure, though, that money goes out because you want to go buy things. You want to impress people, right? So that money goes out of the community because you're spending it on Louis Vuitton or Gucci because you're trying to go out every day to impress the people around you instead of building a family. One of the amazing things that happened for me was that I found my wife early. So instead of when I was in college, instead of trying to spend all my money on new shoes and this and that to impress all the girls when I was going out, I stayed in the house for the most part. I read books. I got to look into a lot of things. I got to look from a different perspective when I seen different relationship dynamics between the men and the women because I wasn't involved in it. So when you're on the outside looking in, it's a lot easier. And so that kind of benefited me. And without that commitment, without that structure with she wasn't my wife at the time, but without that structure with her, I may have been one of those people that's just going out trying to impress people and never really developed myself as a person. Now, you can just develop yourself as a person without having a relationship. That's not what I'm saying. You can do that, but it seems to be a lot harder to stay focused because you do have sexual needs as a human being, especially as a man. So I understand the guys that are, spending their money on outfits to try to impress the girls, but I do challenge them to then save that money because you're going to be impressing a lot more people later on in life when you got some crypto, right? Shiba. When you got some Doge, when you got some, and this is not financial advice, by the way, when you got some, you feel me? You got some Bitcoin, some Ethereum. I am balls deep in Ethereum, by the way. So, when that's going to impress people in 10 years. So try to impress people in 10 years instead of impressing them now. And I always, when somebody told me this, it really changed my perspective. They said, future you is looking at current you. Make sure that you make future you proud.
I always think
right. So when I heard that, it made me change my perspective.
That is so weird. Like, oh my days. Like, literally today, yeah, like early this morning, I was just like, I don't know, because I just felt like I didn't have deja vu, yeah, but I was just thinking like, imagine like my future self, yeah, is now like watching me now, like live out the thing. Like, what would their advice be? Like, what are they doing? Literally this morning. That's so weird that he's actually saying. Yeah. That's so weird. And I was just like, okay, wait, right. This is actually mad. Maybe, and when you think about it as well, if you do live your life like that as well, in the sense that like your future self is now watching you or seeing you, I feel like you'll be a lot more productive. The idea of procrastination will kind of be eliminated. I feel like you'll just be more. You'll be your best version of yourself.
Yeah. 100%. I definitely agree. I came across that notion a couple years ago. I don't know exactly when, but I do try and think about it as often as possible. Because if you think about how far you've come today, there are a lot of things that you can thank. Obviously, everyone has regrets, but there are a lot of things that you can thank your past self for.
100%. 100%.
That he did, she did, if you're a woman, that helped you establish your present self today.
Yeah.
You didn't give up on something, or you went in that direction instead of the other direction. Now, today you're able to bear the fruits because of what your past self, Sounds like we're talking about the multiverse.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
Marvel and DC.
We're just bouncing around the timeline.
I'm telling you. But no, that's that perspective, it makes life have more structure, and it's very beneficial.
It's true,
definitely. To think in that way. Okay. I see. Interesting.
But yeah, no, that was a very good conversation.
Yeah, very good.
Not gonna lie. That uncle or that guy was giving some gems. Like I didn't even expect it, but yeah, like it's a good conversation. Definitely something that we should bring on into a podcast as well. Cause
definitely,
I feel like it is a conversation that we should have within our community. We're only trying to grow the community, really.
Exactly that. Well, guys, that's another one. Thanks for watching.
100%.
And catch you next time.